and girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today I'm going to talk about some very awesome stuff. A very cool video to talk about, a book about time travel, my bonus score report, and got a totally awesome guest. The one, the only, the amazing Steve Chapman. Steve is the host of an outdoor fishing radio show.
Thank you for having me, Tiberius. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the amazing energy too. People don't usually have that much energy when they meet me. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Okay. Today, I'm going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be magical.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
And now it's time for the video game of the week. Today's video game is Wizard Simulator. So this is a game on the Roblox platform. It was made by Polaris Studios. Because it's on Roblox, you're able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free. You may remember Polaris Studios from their other game, Hide and Seek. So this is another simulator-style game, but with some interesting magical events. So you start off in a blue pool, and you find out this is a mana pool. You wake up as a wizard, you are given a quest to defeat some test dummies and learn your skills. Then you go to the training area and attack the dummies. After you learn how to use your staff and power, you get to develop potions and collect money. Guess what you can do with that money? You can buy better weapons and a backpack. The backpack gives you more health and mana, so you want to upgrade that first. Then you want to go buy a chest that will open up new pets. So you want to get at least one pet since it helps you in your attacking and it levels up as well as making it stronger. Some of the bad guys shoot with projectile weapons, and some had to walk right up to you to attack. And well, the boss fights, they can do both. Some of these are very hard, and that's what makes the game fun. So, you can play with your friends, and I got both my mom and dad to play. I advanced faster than them, and they continue to play together. But I found out at the boss fight, well, you have to do that on your own. I give Wizard Simulator 10 out of 10 stars because it is so much fun and it was good enough to get my mom and dad to play. It was cool to do quests with my family until we got to the boss and we had to do it one at a time. I think all kids should try this wizarding game, and the advantages of using real money is leveling up faster.
I've never seen that game. How long have you been playing it, just out of curiosity?
4 days.
4 days. And is that your is that like your favorite game of all time?
No.
No, what's your favorite game?
It's called Overwatch.
Overwatch.
It's a fun game. See David Smith Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
That website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
For 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org. And now it's time for the book of the week. In due time, going, gone. This book is written by Nicholas O'Time. Leverages the back of the book. In fact, Steve, would you want to do the honors?
Sure. Are you gonna... Weird and wacky things are happening at Sands Middle School. There is a mysterious library book that can't be opened. Vikings are running through the bookshelves, and it is Jackie Robinson by the librarian's desk. Join 3 middle school kids on this hilarious time-traveling adventure to the 1950s and back again.
Wow. So first off, this is an AR book, and it's worth a whopping 3 points. It is rated a 4th grade and 5th month reading book. So this is a great book to get some quick points. And it is about my favorite subject, time travel. So the story is about this kid named Matt and his friends Louis and Grace. They go to a middle school, and Matt loves to practice baseball with his grandpa. His grandpa used to be a real player and almost made it to the majors. He had an accident and he could not play anymore. Well, the 3 friends go to school and notice some odd things at the library. One day it looked like Albert Einstein was just walking around and Jackie Robinson. It had to be a joke. Then they discovered a special book called the Book of Memories, which said to sign out this book requires special permission. They talked to the librarian, Mrs. Chapman, and she told them it was a time machine book. So they could travel back in time and change one thing as long as it was not attempt to gain any money or value for yourself. Matt knew exactly what he wanted to do. Matt researched his grandpa and found out that exactly when the accident that changed his life happened. He was going to go back to 1951 and fix it so that his grandpa could be in the majors. But after they were there, they found out that their grandma is the one that helped grandpa get better after the accident. So if there was no accident, then they would never meet. So this was a hard position to be in. So they decided to, well, wait, you should really read the book yourself so you can find out what happens in this awesome story. I give In Due Time, Going, Gone 10 out of 10 stars because I really enjoyed time travel stories and liked that the kids did their research before using the book. They had great adventures and learned some valuable lessons. It took me 4 days to read this book, and it was fun the entire time. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our awesome sponsors, SlutChannelUS.com. These guys are very, very cool. They bring 21st century surface drainage solutions to reality. They can do corporate and government work. These are the guys that make roads and bridges safe in the rain. You can see all about them at SlutChannelUS.com. That website again is SlutChannelUS.com. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373. And now it's time for the interview of an interesting person. Today's guests are going to be so much fun. Today, we have the one, the only, the amazing Steve Chapman. Steve is the host of Fishing Florida Radio and has been doing radio for over 14 years.
Thank you. I love the energy. Tiberius. I really, if we could bottle this up, we could sell this and make millions. No lie.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I love it. Your energy. I like this. I like all the things that you're doing. You've got it going on, man. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. So to jump right in, you've been doing radio a lot longer than I have. Do you still love it?
There are times when I do love it. There are times when I meet people and like yourself, or you want to know what? I'm able to introduce fishing to kids in the outdoors. I love when we do that. I love that here in Central Florida we have some great bass fisheries and some offshore fishing. So I love when that happens, but it's a job, it's a work, it's a lot of hard work to do what we do.
That's cool. So how did you get the ideas about what you wanted to talk about?
Well, it all depends. The show Fishing Florida Radio is meant to be not really informative, but more like an entertaining, like a bunch of guys sitting around a campfire and just talking about everyday things. We've talked about burping and farting and other things like that, and we've talked about serious things, but it's meant to be entertaining and fun and something that you just want to sit and back and listen to and enjoy.
So what is the best part about being a radio show host?
I've been able to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of people that I've looked up to in the past. You know, I grew up and I enjoyed fishing growing up, and because the fishing show has evolved into what it is now. I have friends that are professionals that I just love to talk to and to hear their stories.
So what's the coolest thing you got to do when working as a radio show host?
Well, I like see, as a fishing radio show host, the best thing about being a fishing show host is if I have to go fishing, it's not called fishing, it's called show research. And that means I get to get away, take my little boy fishing with me at times, and we go out and have a good time. So I try not to make it work. It's now show research material.
So I see you change your format to include yes. Why?
So at one point in time, the radio show just had a consistency where it was just the same thing week after week. It's really hard to have the same fishing guides call in and talk about fishing when what happened last week is pretty much what happened this week. So it was an idea that I had to introduce a Captain Mike Ortego, who has tackle webs, to come in the show and be with us full time. But it also allowed us to get guests and then hear their stories, because a lot of times it isn't just about getting outside. There's a lot more to just being a fishing person. I mean, it's one of those. It makes the show easier, and hearing other people's stories always is better than hearing the funny things that I do every day.
Huh, that's cool. So, well, who was the coolest guest you ever had on your show?
Oh, that's a really good question. And one that probably could get me in a lot of trouble, to be honest. However, if you're going to ask it, I'm going to tell it. You probably don't know this person, but he's a massive angler. It's Coach Bobby Knight. He used to be the coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, and he was coach of the Olympic basketball team. And he has a story about Michael Jordan, trying to get Michael Jordan interested in being good, pushing Michael Jordan to the next level while he's playing basketball. And his story about that is one of the best stories I've ever heard in my life. And when I heard it, I stood up and clapped, and I think I might have had a tear come out of my eye because it was that good.
Wow. So, did you get to meet him in person?
Of all things, I was at the Bassmaster Classic a couple years ago. He was eating breakfast, and Captain Mike Ortego and I were sitting down eating breakfast together, and Mike said it would be the really cool thing to do would be to go pick up his check for his breakfast. And I did, and then he left. And then Mike ran out and got him, and we talked basketball. And I actually had been years and years ago to one of his basketball clinics when I was your age. So to see him at, a lot older, and to know how much he loves fishing and everything else, it was a dream come true. It's probably the only time that I took a selfie with somebody that I really enjoyed.
Wow. I remember going fishing with my neighbor one day. I got to eat 3 fish. Do you eat fish you catch, or are you a sports fisherman?
Another great question. I do not eat fish. I eat shrimp. Everything I catch, I catch and release. I think that's the better way to do it. Now, having said that, there are times when I've been fishing and I've kept the fish. There's my little boy and my wife really enjoy fish. So sometimes I keep them, but probably 99% of the time, they get back in the water. Somebody else can catch them later on.
When you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you always know you were going to be a radio show host or a fisherman?
I knew I'd be a fisherman my whole life. My dad took me fishing when I was younger.
Wow.
I knew that was it. But when I was younger, I played baseball and basketball, and I golfed. So I thought that was where my life was going to go to. But I've always been fishing, from probably 2 or 3 years old to my little boy Thomas and I just were fishing this on Saturday together. So I've always known I'm going to fish because I call it, you need to get off your iPads and into the lily pads. God created it, so we might as well be out there and enjoy it.
Oh, so what is the hardest part about being a fishing radio show host?
It's the amount of time that you put in to make the show sound good. Like you guys know, it's hard to do a lot of things, and there's really not a lot of time. You need to keep up with people, and there's a lot of people don't like anglers. I mean, we get a hard knock every now and then. That people have their own opinions on what, if you should fish or if you shouldn't fish. If it hurts the fish, if it doesn't. But you got to do what you enjoy. That's one thing in life.
So what is an angler?
So an angler to me is someone who goes out there and respects the fishing. Someone who respects what God created for us. Someone that goes out there and picks up after themselves. That goes out there and tries to make the fishing better for the next person who's going to go fishing. That is something that most people don't do. A lot of people go out there and throw their trash down. I go fishing at this one place, and I walk around the lake once a month, and I pick up all the trash around it. And that's only for my benefit, because I don't want to see it when I fish. So I think a real angler enjoys what they do, is responsible for the fishing, and tries to make it better for the next person.
So if you can ensure that one particular person listens to your show, who would it be?
Oh, wow. I might need to read that question. The person that's a really good question, Tiberius. The person I want to listen to the show is someone who's just going to enjoy and not take offense to some of the things we say. It's meant to be an entertaining show. Someone who's willing to laugh and participate and be part of what we find funny, and that's it. You don't have to be a fisherman or an angler to enjoy Fishing Florida Radio. You just need to be someone that is willing to laugh and enjoy our stupidity.
So now my dad and our what you call endorsement. I do bowling, video games, board games, a radio show, and lots of things indoors. What would you tell me to do so that we can attempt to do more outdoor things?
So, because we're in Florida, in Central Florida, there's a few great things about Central Florida that most people don't know. We have what they call the Fab 5 lakes. Orlando stocks these ponds so that the fishing is exceptional fishing. They put bluegill in, they put all sorts of little fish in. So there's and even retention ponds in where you live or on the side of the road generally have fish in them. So I would say just doing that. The second thing is because I know that you should go fishing. And by the way, I would love for you guys to come over with us, with Thomas and I one day, and go fishing with us. And you can learn from Thomas himself. That's my little boy. But we brought you a rod today, and we brought you. Now this is don't mind this box, but I made Thomas go through. I have a wall full of lures, and I mean thousands and thousands of lures. I let Thomas go through and pick out some stuff that we thought would be really cool for you to have. Now, I need to remind you, they have hooks. So they do hurt. They have sharp hooks, okay? So here's the rod. This is from Castaway Rods. They're a sponsor of mine, and they'd love for you to use this and to get out there and learn how to fish. But then in this box, Thomas loves frog fishing. This is my little boy, Thomas. He loves frog fishing. So we thought we needed to give you a frog to start off with. So then there's also some little swim baits. These are what these called. Some other swim baits. These are great for bass. These are storm lures from bass. So you can put one of these on and just run it. But there's all sorts of stuff. There's this yappa bug that looks like a cicada. Thought that would be cool for you. But Thomas really wanted you to have this beast of a lure that looks just like literally like a live bluegill. And quite honestly, if you go fishing with us, this is what you're going to use. You're going to use something just like this. Because Thomas got one the other day that was 8 pounds and 8.76 pounds. Almost 9-pound bass. And it was on this.
So, thank you for giving me this gift, and say thank you to Castaway Rods and also Monster Bass.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. You got to use it, though. You know that. You have to use it. You have to use it.
Okay. So, if my listeners wanted to go to be a radio show host, what advice would you give them? And me.
And you. Well, I think you're doing a pretty good job to start off with.
Okay.
I think that in radio, you have to keep things entertaining and upbeat, and I think that's the hardest thing most people don't do. Don't do well enough. You also, if you want to be on the radio, you need to be able to tell a story. That's the most important thing. People these days are so on their phones and texting that you don't give enough details on how something went about, and you need to just tell a story properly.
If you could teach me one thing that's really stuck, what would it be?
I would take you fishing. I would teach you that if you can catch a fish, you can feed yourself. And if you can enjoy what God created and respect it and cherish it, you'll enjoy your life a lot better. It also will keep you off your iPads and into the lily pads. That's what you need to do. Because it isn't all about just playing games all day, you know that. You need to get outside.
So what's the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I don't think you forgot to ask anything. You did a great job, dude. You did a great job. You're better at this than I am. Do you know that? You're better at this than I am, and I've been doing it for 14 years.
I thought you were. I thought the 14 years.
No, you're... For 8 years old, dude, you're killing it, man.
But I've already done it for 1 year.
Still, you're 8 years old.
Thank you, Steve, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure.
Booyah! Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now. Get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Get ready, it's time for the Bowling Score Report.
Okay, so guess what I did this week in bowling? Well, nothing. Because there was a hurricane in the Boardwalk Bowling sent out an email to all the parents canceling bowling for the weekend. Instead, my dad took me to a board game party and we played until 1 a.m. in the morning.
Really?
Then we went home and decided to go back the next day and do it again. Of course, this was after my dad fixed up the house for the store. And I also did that until 1 in the morning. But it was so much fun playing board games and meeting lots of people. So maybe we can do a show about board games and review some. I cannot wait to get back to bowling. So, if you want to go bowling with me, be sure to join me at the new Fall League Up Boardwalk Bowling Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning, bro.
Thomas beats me in bowling. I'm not joking.
What's his high score?
I don't know. I just know I've been bowling twice with him, and both times he crushed me.
I think I can crush you again.
Probably.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners.
Thank you so much, Steve, for helping me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about hurricanes. So before you ask, yes, there's a lot of math with hurricanes. And, well, since everyone is stopping everything and talking about this hurricane, I thought I would tell kids about what all the math is about. So two things they talk about on the news with hurricanes are the wind speed and how fast our hurricane is moving. Now the funny part is that they are different. The wind speed is not the speed the hurricane is moving. Instead, it's how fast the winds in the center of the storm is moving. Those winds move in a circle and they move very fast. This hurricane was moving very slowly at 1 mile per hour. But the wind speeds were very fast. Now, when a storm is made, it's called a tropical depression and then a storm, and then it becomes a hurricane after the storm winds are faster than a 74 miles per hour. If the storm gets faster and faster, it becomes a Category 2 hurricane at 95 miles per hour. And at 111 miles per hour, it becomes a Category 3, and 130 is the mark for a Category 4, and now the big ones, well, it's 157 miles per hour, and that's a Category 5. This hurricane broke some records, and even got as fast as 185 miles per hour. But it is only moved very slowly at 1 mile per hour. And after the wind speed slowed down, it began moving faster and traveled up the Florida coast. So Steve, do you now know all about between the difference of wind speed and how fast the storm is moving?
Yeah, I didn't know this. Great job.
Thank you so much.
I watched your YouTube thing the other day of you doing about kids in hurricanes.
And now it's time for Heart of a Lion. We're the Tiberius Show, like living with the heart of a lion. Living with the heart of a lion stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility.
This week, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. So I used leadership this week when the hurricane was coming to Orlando. I talked to my dad about the storm and how many kids are scared about the storm. I made a public service announcement to explain how kids should listen to their parents and follow their instructions with obedience. I also suggested they ask questions about the storm and what they see on TV. Lots of people saw the video and said it helped their kids feel better and not as scared about the storm. This is being a positive influence on others and providing directions. So I was happy to hear that it helped a lot of kids feel better and not be worried about the storm. So Steve, did you see or use leadership at all this week?
Yes. It's leadership like that you had, that helping others and providing the correct information when we thought this hurricane was going to be here, even though it didn't really do anything. It just blew a little bit and rained a little bit. But still, you give that leadership to people to allow them, to give them some knowledge and some wisdom so that they're not as scared when this thing comes at us.
Of all the Heart of Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
So, I like integrity, but in integrity, I say it's more loyalty. You're only as good as the people that surround you, and it helps to have integrity in everything that you do, and being passionate and being honest and doing things right, and not trying to skip things or take an easy corner. Sometimes it's easier to do it the hard way. But integrity is really important in life, in my opinion.
And that's our show, folks. On it, the one, the only, the amazing Steve Chapman will be my special guest this week. It's been so much fun talking with you today, and I hope to look forward to maybe going fishing with you one day.
You are welcome to not only go fishing with Thomas and I, who's here with me, but you're also, if you'd like to, after you go fishing with us, if you want to come on our show and talk about and dab and do all that stuff, you can come on our show and just tell us what you think. But thank you for having me.
Okay.
And great job, dude.
And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show. Their host, Tiberius Boy.
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer, Joseph Boy. Production editor, Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager, Danny Boy. Broadcast associate, James Smith. And your program host, Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.